Hey guys, in today's video, I wanted to go over what I believe to be the best items to go for as a Shadow Priest in TOGC. This will be the first items that I'll personally pry when starting to gear in phase 3 on my Shadow Priest, or for anyone who does a wish list or just looking for a list of the strongest items in the phase. This isn't set in stone or anything, but rather just a list based off the biggest gains in terms of stats and DPS. This is also coming from being phase 2 BIS, which I know a lot of us are not, but I figured it'd be a good starting point. If you're lacking in one of these slots, then just know that you should probably pry out that slot and trade for one of these ones I'm listing in the video. I'll use 80s upgrades for ease of seeing the stat gains over phase 2, and the links will be in the description, as well as I'll link to phase 3 BIS on screen right now and in the description as well. Before we begin, I just want to give a massive shout out to the Shadow Priest Discord, your one-stop shop for everything and anything Shadow Priest related. There you will find people much smarter than me crunching all these numbers and coming up with the best things for Shadow Priest, like this spreadsheet that I'd like to talk about for a quick second. This was made by Kiwi and Apple, who spent countless hours simming quite literally every combination for Shadow Priest and putting each value on this sheet here. I won't go deeply into this on this video, but for the sake of explaining, this will simply help you see how much more DPS a single piece of gear is in comparison to phase 3 BIS, or whatever piece of gear that you're currently wearing. Example, phase 3 best and sought weapon is the Mace, Suffering's End. As you can see, this is a roughly 200 DPS gain over Starshard's Edge. Another simple example is the phase 3 Bracers, Dark Essence Bindings. This shows you that those are roughly 34 DPS better than the phase 2 BIS Grasp of Reasons. This is a super dope spreadsheet that can help you with gearing, and it will be linked in the description below as well as the first pinned comment. Make sure to go to the Shadow Priest Discord and show him some love for all this work that he's done. Also, one more thing before we start, please hit that follow button and the thumbs up. And lastly, I stream over on Twitch at twitch.tv/CrixVibes, where I raid on my Shadow Priest as well as some Warlocks and a ton of the Hardcore Challenge. Okay, so let's first talk about the tier 9 set. It's very hard to work this into priority because while it's good for Shadow Priest, it's not game breaking for Shadow. Thus for Shadow will probably be pretty low on the guild priority and very hard to obtain for some of us. However, I do know that many of you will still be able to prior some tier 9, so I'll be listing some below. As for the set bonuses, the 4 set increases the critical strike chance of your Mind Flay by 5%. While yes, this will obviously net you some DPS, it won't be much in comparison to pretty much every other DPS spec in the game, meaning that Shadow will probably be one of the last DPS to obtain a full 4 set. The 2 set, however, is much better. It increases the duration of your Vampiric Touch by 6 seconds, drastically extending the duration of our main dot. For this reason, it's suggested that you obtain your 2 set as fast as possible. More on which 2 pieces in a minute. A side note about gearing in phase 3, unlike most of the other DPS classes, Shadow Priest pretty much never needs to worry about hit issues, thanks to our 2 talents, Misery and Shadow Focus, leaving us with only 11% hit to obtain if you're Horde, and only 10% if you're Alliance. Due to that, you won't have any problem being hit capped. But also make sure that you're not over hit. There's a ton of hit gear in phase 3 and you can easily find yourself sitting severely over hit cap, meaning you're wasting stats in other slots. That all being said, if for some reason you find yourself hurting on hit, don't be afraid to substitute any of these pieces for some hit gear to help you out. I'll touch on that a little later as well. So for the first item, I would suggest going for Cloak. Atheist's Intensity if you're Horde, or Jaina's Radiance if you're Alliance. This is an amazing cloak that is 20 spell power, 57 haste, 17 crit, and 20 intellect. Better than your phase 2 cloak. This cloak is also the most contested item amongst casters, making it the most important item to prioritize in my opinion. Not only that, but this cloak is only slightly behind phase 4 ICC BIS cloak, Frostbinder's Shredded Cape. Meaning once you get this, you really don't have to worry about another cloak for quite some time. All of this combined, I'm going for cloak before anything else, and I suggest you do it as well. Next up is tier 9. As we mentioned earlier, it's suggested to get your 2 set fast. And I wasn't sure how to rank them in terms of priority since some of us can't control when it gets them while some of us can. So I just wanted to touch on the chest and the legs both being extremely strong, and if you can prior them, you should. For the chest, you gain 20 spell power, 94 spirit, 20 stam, 35 int, and 32 haste. The hit you lose on it won't matter since a lot of our other phase 3 business will have hit on it. Meanwhile, the leggings, you gain 40 spell power, 29 int, 11 stam, 5 haste, and 102 hit. These 2 are the best options for your 2 set, with the shoulders coming in as a close third for those wanting another option. Next up on the list is the Trinket, Reign of the Dead or Unliving for Alliance. This is an amazing trinket that you'll be wanting to prio and obtain ASAP. This will be taking over Scale of Fates, and while we're on the topic, if you don't have either Scale of Fates or Flare of the Heavens, then Reign should be prioed even higher. This is one of the highest DPS upgrades that you can get out of phase 3 as you gain the static 36 spell power, but also the huge damage proc. The only reason I would put it third is because the other 2 tier 9 pieces and the cloak are much more contested as everybody wants those, whereas not every caster wants the trinket. No matter the fact, you want this as fast as possible. The next item I'd go for is one of the weapons. I say one of them because which one you use depends on your hit situation, and more importantly, which one your raid gives you. No matter the choice, they're both amazing weapons and you should be happy with either of them. With the Terraskew Dagger, you gain 27 spell power, 57 haste, and 7 hit over Starsard's Edge. With the Mace, which is your actual technical BIS, Misery's in for Alliance or Suffering's in for Horde, you gain 36 spell power, 66 haste, 44 crit, and 21 stamina. If you get the Mace, note that you'll be losing some hit, but as mentioned above, there's a ton of hit on the other phase 3 pieces that'll make up for it. If you get the Dagger, you'll keep the hit from Starsard's Edge plus gain 7 more, allowing you to substitute hit from another slot if needed. The next item will depend largely on if you have Conductive Seal or not. If you don't have Conductive Seal, then it's suggested to prio Lurid Manifestation if Horde, otherwise called Band of Deplorable Violence if you're Alliance. This is a very nice upgrade regardless, but this becomes an insanely important upgrade if you don't have Conductive Seal. Now if you do have Conductive Seal, then it's suggested to go for the neck, Wail, or Cry of the Valkyr. This will give you the best gain in comparison to the other side pieces, as it's 6 spell power and 57 crit better than your phase 2 neck. Not only that, but you also get to keep your haste while also shedding some unnecessary hit rating. As for the bracers, belts, and boots, these are also highly contested, but you also gain less value out of these than the previously mentioned pieces of gear. The offhand, which is a good upgrade, isn't really contested as only mages want this currently, so you shouldn't have to fight for it too hard. Well, that's it for this one. I just wanted to give you my input on which items I think are the most important to aim for in phase 3. I hope this helps you prepare for TOGC. Once again, please go to the Shadow Priest Discord as well as the lovely spreadsheet that Kiwi Apple made for more in-depth information on this. Also, if you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up on the way out and following the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. Feel free to stop by the stream anytime if you have any questions or just leave them in the comments below. I'll see you on the next one.